Before we go any further into the new year, 2026 is here. I want you to just take a moment, just pause, and just reflect on your year. Think about 2025. Not what you hoped it would be, not what you told yourself it could be, but what it actually was. Just ask yourself honestly, like, where did I keep my agreements? And where did I quietly break them? Because here's what I've learned, and this might be uncomfortable for a lot of people, but it's very true, is your results that you just got in 2025, they're a direct reflection of the agreements that you kept and the ones you didn't. So if you want 2026 to be more productive, more peaceful, more joyful, then this conversation matters. So let's talk about making agreements. And what is an agreement, right? You know me, I like to break down words, and let's talk to it so we can fully understand it. An agreement is simply something that you said you would do. You may have said that to yourself, which let's talk about that. Like any agreement that you make with somebody is also an agreement that you make with yourself, right? So we make agreements to ourselves, maybe to someone else, most certainly to somebody you made an agreement with last year, maybe to your business, maybe to your employees, maybe to your health. And probably guaranteed you made some agreements that were going to support a brighter, more hopeful future, more successful future. And most people don't fail because they lack knowledge. When we know this, when it comes to their agreements, at least, it's because they don't keep their agreements consistently. And the price that you pay is a lot higher than you think, so that's why I wanted to make this video. What is the cost of not keeping your agreements with yourself and with others? Well, the real cost of broken agreements, number one, there's 7 things here that we're going to cover. Number one is a loss of energy, fatigue, being tired. When you don't do what you say you do, it actually drains you. You might be waking up tired. Could be physical, but especially mental, like mental exhaustion. Your brain is carrying a bunch of open loops because you said you were going to do them, but you didn't close that loop. You never completed it. There's unfinished promises, maybe that you made to others or with others. Unkept commitments, of course. And that fatigue over time, it compounds. So you're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're out of integrity with yourself. Number 2, loss of relationships. So every broken agreement deposits another seed of doubt in a relationship. You might say, it can be very small agreements too. You might say that I'll call, right? And then you don't call. You might say that you'll show up, but then you wind up canceling. You may say that I'll change, but nothing changes. Or you change it for 2 weeks and then you break your agreement and go right back to the way things were. Eventually, people stop confronting you. And when people stop confronting you, it's because they've stopped trusting you. Experience a disconnect with some of these relationships. Next is number 3 is loss of business, income, and opportunity. So it's like the deadlines you didn't keep, the follow-ups, the standards, your consistency. When agreements aren't kept, people don't always complain, right? They don't. They just typically go elsewhere. So lost income rarely looks dramatic. It usually looks very quiet. A deal that never closes, a promotion that never comes, a referral that never happens. Then number 4, loss of integrity. I talked about integrity earlier, but integrity isn't about being perfect. It's about being whole. Integrity is like doing the right thing even when no one is watching. So when your words and actions don't match, something fractures internally. You feel it and you know it. And once integrity erodes, the confidence follows. So you start losing confidence. Number 5, loss of trust and respect. This one can hurt the most. Because when you repeatedly break agreements, you don't just lose trust with others. You lose trust with yourself. And when you don't trust yourself, you hesitate, you overthink, you second guess. So leadership just disappears. Like if you have a leadership position, if you're an entrepreneur, if you run a team, or if you're just the leader of your family, like leadership disappears because your self-trust disappeared first. Number 6 is loss of self-esteem. Self-esteem doesn't come from affirmations, it comes from evidence. So every time there's no evidence that you're keeping your agreement, you start losing more self-esteem, and then you're losing confidence. And confidence, especially for a man, it means a lot. It means a lot for all people, but let's be honest, guys, like, confidence is important. You need to feel confident. Every kept agreement typically builds your self-esteem. This is why one of the best things you can do is just get in shape. Just focus on your body. That's something you have total control over. It's something that if you stop allowing excuses to enter your mind that stops you from going through with your workout, you will build self-esteem, period. You will build confidence. You will walk differently. You will talk differently. So every kept agreement builds self-esteem. Every broken one tears it down. You don't feel bad because you're not capable. You feel bad because you know you could do better. Number 7, loss of clarity and inner peace. How much is your inner peace worth to you? Like, seriously. Broken agreements create noise, mental clutter, internal conflict, restlessness. You can't feel calm when you're constantly negotiating with yourself. Peace comes from alignment, and alignment comes from follow-through. Alignment also comes from clarity. There's going to be a loss of personal power. You keep making agreements with people and agreements with yourself, and you continue to break those agreements, you're just going to lose your personal power. When you don't keep your word, you're basically giving your power away every single time. So why do we break these agreements with ourselves? Maybe you had grandiose dreams of 2025, and here we are at the end of 2025, and you have not accomplished those dreams. Well, I feel your pain. I know what that feels like. I know what the pressure feels like. So what is it that happens within us that makes us break these agreements? There's 3 real reasons. Number 1 is convenience and comfort. So we break agreements because it's easier in the moment, right? It's like Jim Rohn says, he's like, success is easy. It's just easier not to be successful, right? Or however Jim Rohn talks. This is when the times where you said you were going to do something, and then you say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. You kick the can down the road. You trade pleasure today for a more painful tomorrow. Another thing that we say is like, I'm tired, right? Oh, I'm tired. I'm just going to rest for now. And you put it off. Another thing was, gosh, it's been a long day. Had all this stuff happen. I'm just going to skip today. Skip my workout today. Like, we've all done this. And it's okay. Like, if you had one really bad day, and it just makes sense to not work out. I'm not going to say that that's important, that's just going to throw you completely off the rails. What will throw you completely off the rails is 2 days in a row of that and giving into your excuses. 3 days, forget about it. You don't even want it. If you let it go 3 days, you never wanted it. So why did you commit to it in the first place? Why did you try to make an agreement with yourself in the first place if you're going to let it go 3 days without actually taking action? So the goal is to feel like not doing it and do it anyways. And the more times you do that, the more self-esteem you'll develop, the more progress you're going to see, and in terms, the confidence is going to rise. Comfort, it typically feels harmless, but comfort is very expensive over time. You guys all know this. Very expensive. Number 2, reason why we break agreements, the real reasons. Approval. We say yes when we should say no. We avoid discomfort because we don't want to disappoint others. So we disappoint ourselves instead. And that trade always costs more. Another reason why we break our agreements, before I get into number 3, is we want everything now. The most successful people that you see out there in social media and on TV or wherever, they've typically, like, it's fun to watch movies and stuff where they have like one big score. Like I watch Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12 over the last couple weekends. Just I haven't seen those movies in a long time, and I hadn't watched movies for a long time, but I watched those two movies again just to put something on. And we love that kind of stuff, right? We love these big scores, right? They stole in Ocean's 11. They stole like 180 million, right, from a casino vault. Well, we love that. We love the get rich overnight, get rich quick, and it's not reality. The reality is if you can just stay consistent and do the boring stuff over and over and over and over again, you will see more success in life than 99% of everybody you know within your little circle. And eventually you'll graduate to a different circle, and those people will be more successful. They'll all be more successful. So, number 3 reason why we break agreements is rebellion and control. So some people break agreements unconsciously as a way to feel in control. These would be stories that we tell ourselves like, no one tells me what to do. Or even if it's my plan, I'll decide. But rebellion against structure is rebellion against progress. I shared a sales training with a client, and he immediately said, "Oh, this sounds too salesy," and he just dropped it. Like he didn't show up for another call. He didn't. I only later learned this information because he just stopped showing up. Because the one training that I provided that would help them close so many more deals, he said, "Oh, that sounds salesy." Okay, well, take the part out that sounds salesy to you and use the rest. I promise you'll still see increases. But as soon as they see one thing, they're like, I don't, that's not for me. You need structure, but then as soon as you learn a structure, you rebel against it, right? It's like, I own the business, I'm just going to do it my way. Well, your way hasn't gotten you the results that you say you want. So if you really want those results, you need some structure. So anyhow, I've worked with people who had the talent, the intelligence, the opportunity, everything. And this gentleman that I'm talking about is no different. Love the guy. I want to see him win. I want to see him be wildly successful in his business. But if you can't keep simple agreements that you made with yourself, and I know where he wants to take his business and what he wants for the future of his business. But if you're not going to keep simple agreements, which means sometimes we got to get uncomfortable. We got to do some things that are not the normal thing that we're used to doing so that we can get new results. You got to keep simple agreements. And simple agreements look like weekly planning, protected focus time. I call it tunnel time or CEO time. Follow through. If these people who would just implement this and just stick with it, their life would completely transform. Maybe you feel that way. Maybe you feel like, man, if I could just stay consistent. Because I could tell you, if you want to go from feeling overwhelmed, feeling stuck, and feeling inconsistent to having clarity and confidence and momentum in life, then you have to introduce some structure into your days. Structure into your business. So these people, none of them are incapable. You are not incapable, but they were inconsistent. So if you're tired of being inconsistent and you want to start a plan of consistency, then something has to change. It's more likely that some of the agreements that you broke with yourself in 2025 have to do with your lack of consistency. Once you start keeping small agreements that you make with yourself, then momentum will begin to show up. See, most of us don't break big promises. It's little bitty micro promises. Like, oh yeah, I'll take care of that. Yeah, I'll take care of that. Yeah, I'll do that. And then we don't do it. We break these small ones, right? It's like, I'll start Monday. Oh, I'll get back on track. Or I'll do it later. Those little breaks, they teach your mind one thing. your word doesn't matter. And once that belief sets in, everything in life slows down. So here's the shift that I want you to make in 2026. Stop trying to do more. Start keeping fewer but stronger agreements with yourself and with others. Momentum has nothing to do with motivation. Momentum is you having trust in yourself through the actions and the behaviors that you actually do. Clarity returns, confidence grows, energy comes back, all your trust is restored and renewed, and your power increases. So if 2025, if you felt scattered, stuck, inconsistent, overwhelmed, if you're busy all the time but you don't feel fulfilled, if you made progress but just not enough, it's not because you're broken. I can promise you that. It's because your agreements were broken. That's why. You broke agreements. So here's the good news. Agreements can be rebuilt, momentum can be restored, and 2026 can be your most aligned, most clear year that you've ever had. One kept agreement at a time. That's the moment. That's the moment. If you don't want to repeat 2025, you don't need more motivation. You need a clear plan. That's why I created the Momentum Operating System Workshop. It's a live session that I do. I'm going to be doing it this Thursday night. I'll walk you step by step through a simple system that's going to help you clarify what matters, choose the right weekly moves to make, and to start keeping agreements that you make with yourself so that you can build and create momentum. Not only build and create, but sustain momentum. So you don't have to figure this out alone. I'm going to guide you through it. Register for the Momentum Operating System Workshop in the link below. Show up with a notebook. This is a relatively short workshop. We do real work, mind you. This is a real work. It's called a workshop for a reason. We're going to do a little bit of work, but it's a great way to bust into the new year. By the time this is over, the workshop's over, it's about, I want to say, it's a little over an hour. A little over an hour we'll spend together. It's going to be a clear, deliberate steps towards your clarity. You're going to leave there with a plan. You're going to know what you're going to focus on next week. You'll feel more confident and powerful in 2026, which is what I want for you. That's what I want for all of you guys, because I know what it feels like to not feel that way. And I'm here to tell you it's a lot better on the other side of it. And you're just one process away, one moment away from completely changing your life, to staying consistent, to creating more income, to creating more health, to building closer relationships. It's all within your reach. You just need a little structure and a process. I'll see you on the next one. This is your moment.